All right. So today we're going to talk about how you can go from the old version of you over to the new version and what that takes and what that looks like from you going from the old version into the new. Okay. So first thing you got to understand that this is not an overnight process. This is something that you have to work at to get where you need to go. But like in my other video where I show you how to set your goal or your target and work backwards from that. So set whatever it is that you want to attain, whatever you want to get to, and then say to yourself, okay, now how can I achieve that? Right? And that's how you got to think, and that's how you got to look at things. Yeah? And I think this is one of the most important part of growth and moving forward in life and, reaching levels and pinnacles that you can only imagine. And obviously we know that there's always better on the other side in terms of you bettering yourself, your shape, your mind, your mentality, everything about you, like your business acumen, your family, your health, all of it. Yeah. So first and foremost, I've written down excuses die, discipline is built, and character is forged within this section here. So on your left, you got your old version or your current version. On your right, you got your new version. In the middle, you have what it's going to take for you to get there. Are you following? Okay. So, for example, if the current version of you is the type of person who procrastinates, the thing you're going to set within your middle ground here, or for you to start today, tomorrow, tonight, whatever it is to have a daily discipline. You're going to go from procrastination to daily disciplines. Daily discipline meaning I'm going to do 100 push-ups. I'm going to make 10 phone calls. I'm going to ring 5 family members and tell them that I love them. I'm going to do my daily disciplines that I've written and said, this is the standard that I've set for myself. I'm not willing to budget for anybody. I'm not willing to, to drop that bar for anyone, no matter what it is or who it is or what. Yeah? Daily discipline. So person who procrastinates over to a daily discipline person, over to someone who keeps their promises. So this is going to go from, there's going to be friction, there's going to be certain things there, to a person who keeps their promises. I'm going to give you an example. If, for example, with me, okay, cool. I'll use myself, yeah? I used to drink, for example, yeah? And I was never a big drinker. And I know it's not really a daily, but say if it was a thing that I was doing, like say every weekend, which it was at one point, right? My, not daily, but my weekly discipline is that I'm not going to drink. I don't need it. It's something that I'm not going to do. When the weekend comes around, I'm not going to drink, right? So after it becomes something with a bit of push and a bit of friction, you start to move over. Once not drinking becomes the norm, you then become someone who keeps the promises to themselves or to others. Do you understand? Because you already established that you've imprinted in yourself that you don't drink by keeping your daily disciplines or your weekly disciplines in the sense that I'm describing now, or an example that I'm describing now, because you're not willing to do the thing that you're currently doing, for example, drinking. So then after 6 months, 1 year, whenever it, whatever it is, you become a person in that regard who keeps their promises, all right? Thus you have a new version of yourself, or a part of you which is no longer the old version of yourself, basically, yeah? Cool. Maybe you're a man or woman who seeks comfort, right? Maybe you like sitting down on the sofa, you like movies, you like chilling out, you like eating what you want. I'm free, I can do what I want, all that, yeah? Whatever, cool. You seek comfort, you go where you want, eat what you want, drink what you want, do what you want. You're quote unquote free, yeah? Which there isn't really any freedom in this life, right? The only freedom is in the next life. Anyway, so you've gone from seeking comfort to a person who does hard things, okay? So, for example, seeking comfort. If we're saying someone who comes home and then switches on the TV or watches movies cartoons, anime, whatever they do, play Xbox, play things. That's comfort. When you change that over to someone who's then doing this, they do hard things. For example, they go to the gym. Yeah? They go to the gym. So rather than coming home and sitting on the sofa, eating snacks, food, whatever it is, you then become the person who goes to the gym. So you're doing something hard, which is the gym. So after the gym becomes the norm to you, you now become a person who seeks growth. Do you understand? And you can see how the transition is made from this over to this. And then this eventually becomes this. And then you have a new area of where your standard is and what you're trying to get to in the next version of yourself, because you're not going to stop growing. Growth can never stop. You're always going to be growing no matter what. You always have to thrive for growth. Okay? All right. Another example I'm going to give you, if you're someone who's reactive to life, maybe, okay? Start becoming a person who takes ownership. You know, if you're late for work or if you're late doing what you're doing or whatever it is, take ownership. If you've got flaws, own your flaws. They're your flaws, take them, because by owning them, you open the door for growth, okay? And this leads, you turn for someone who takes ownership to naturally, you lead yourself and you lead others. Because once you start taking ownership, you can be like, do you know what? My apologies. I shouldn't have spoke to you like that. Let's move on from there. Or my apologies, sorry I'm late. Do you know what I mean? And you start to become the person who you want to be. You know what I mean? So I always say, look, put it like this, yeah? The snake who doesn't shed its skin will inevitably die. I think Socrates said that. Sorry, I read a couple of books here and there. Don't hate me. All right? And that's basically saying you have to grow no matter what. You have to become something better than what you currently are. You have to keep pushing. And I've come from an environment where I was around violence, drugs, affiliations. I couldn't trust no one in the room. I couldn't chill, I couldn't relax. And it was dog eat dog. And, you know, like, it was like being a snake charmer. And it was like, it was just chaos, right? And it was one thing after another, one thing after another. And it made me who I am today, living the life that I live. But what I will say is this. Once you change or you become more than what you currently are, it's going to be hard to step back into these rooms. It's hard for me to step back into these rooms that I'm too big for these rooms now. Like, my mind is so, like, I've seen too much and I've experienced too much to be in these rooms with these sort of people. I need to be in rooms now where people know more than me, and I'm not the most intelligent person in the room, but me just being there is valuable itself. Do you understand? I can no longer go to your local link-ups or, you know, your drink-ups and sit in the hood or sit on the block or in the corner. Because to me, every minute is valuable. Every minute is priceless. So I need to continue to grow. And for anyone out there who's on their growth and on their journey towards something better, you're going to get a stage in life where you don't really fit it. I think Hormozi even said this actually, and it's so true. And it's like, you're going to find a space where your friends or your old friends, you don't really fit in with that group. So you don't really fit in, but then you haven't really made it enough to fit in with the new group set of people or the other set of group of people. Do you know what I mean? Because both holds values for, you know what I mean, for whatever reason. So it's one of those things. And going back down here to this as well, I've given you some key things for you to look at and to start. Like I said, you have to start to look at the new version of you and the version you want to be first before you can say, okay, cool, this is what I need to do to get to the place where I need to get to mentally, physically, and just all around in my life and become a new person, okay? And these are some of the key areas that I've put down that are valuable to me. You can do the same for you, but it's called the rule of 4. And it's 4 and 4. And honestly, it's work magic for me. And what I do basically, I get a semicircle like this. I get a circle like this, split it into 4, and I say, okay, what are the 4 most important things to me? I haven't learned this from anywhere. There's something that I created, and I feel like these are the 4 most important things to me in my life. And it's my health, it's my belief system, my religion, my finance and business, and my family. And there's no real order there to it. Obviously certain things are obvious in terms of what, do you know what I mean? Like without my health, nothing here is, do you know what I mean? So with that being said, what can I do in my family, or what can you do within your family circle, your family situation, to make it the best and the most optimal that you can actually say, yeah, do you know what? Family is good, you know, because I feel like the last generation entrepreneurs have got to a certain level, or just people in general have got to a level of where they've sacrificed their health, but they've kept their finances and their belief system, maybe, or they've sacrificed their family and they've lost. Do you know what I mean? And one, whatever it is, but I feel like if you're building all 4 at the same time and you have a certain set standard for yourself, you can sort of see where you're going to be lacking, or maybe slowing down, or I need to pull my weight a bit more, whatever that thing could be, right? So, family, set 4 things for your family. I'm going to see this person this many times. I'm going to ring this many family members once a week. I'm going to do this and this, keep in touch. Health, I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to meal prep, whatever. I'm going to walk 5K a day, whatever it is. Belief system, are you going to pray 5 times a day? Are you going to go to church on Sunday? Are you not going to lie? You're not going to steal, whatever it is. Finances, I'm going to, you know, make a report for my finances. I'm going to put away 40% of my income. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I feel like once you have these areas knuckled down and you say, okay, cool, these are areas of my life that I'm not going to do it, you can then put that into your daily structure and make that part of the version of you that's going to then become the new version. Because the new version is already there. You're not going towards a new version. You are the new version, because you're going to be implementing it in this section of it and this section of your life. And I'm telling you, you're set to win. And I'm going to add a new, like the step after this is going to be also another key one. So make sure you watch that video and just, yeah, man, keep showing us some love. And I do this for you guys to make sure you're winning and make sure you got everything in your arsenal to just take over and just conquer yourself, man. Because at the end of the day, there's no one else against us apart from ourselves. You understand? So cool, man. I'll see you in the next one. Yes, sir.